Welcome back. Let's focus on IMFA. You know, the stock was firing in the last few sessions. It made, in fact, a fresh 52-week high as well. This is on the back of news that the government has passed a provisional compensation order on the Utkal C coal block, valuing the freehold and leasehold land at around 416 crore rupees. To discuss this and more, as well as the higher chrome ore prices here in India, we're joined by Mr. Subhrakant Panda, the Managing Director at IMFA, that's Indian Metals and Ferro Chrome. Hi, Mr. Panda. Well, I don't know how many quarters I've been asking you this, that you're due for that compensation. Will you get it? Will you not get it? Well, the writing's on the wall, so you'll be feeling quite good about it. We were talking about a number of 350 to 400 crores odd. So give us some clarity. How much of this amount you've already received? I think it was 20 crores odd. When do you expect to receive the remainder of this amount? And give us the quantum as well.
Good morning, Nigel. And, as I was telling you off air before we came on the call, that your research team now has to come up with some of the questions in future interactions. But having said that, it was justifiable, obviously, to touch upon this subject every time we interacted because it has significant positive implications for the company. So, it's a major step forward. Last Friday evening, we got the email from the nominated authority determining the compensation at 416 odd something, so roughly about 417 crores. And the statutory expenses reimbursement that we have received of roughly 21 crores is over and above this. And this amount also does not include the mines infrastructure, which is roughly another 20 to 25 crores. Now, in terms of the timeline, the letter says that the new allottee has 7 days to deposit the amount. But we will also, as per the procedure, have a meeting to, between both parties and the nominated authority to go over the figures and see if there are any discrepancies anywhere. But I don't see any significant changes to this amount. And in terms of us getting the money, actually, I would expect now it to be within October.
Within October. All right. Just to clarify on these numbers, 20 crores you've already received. You're expecting this 416, 417 crores. And you're also hopeful of another 20-25 crores, which will be related to the infrastructure.
That's right. So this was the provisional compensation letter that we got pertained only to freehold land and leasehold land, and therefore the mines infrastructure is additional.
So the net amount is close to around 450, 460 odd crores, inclusive of everything, right?
That's right. Yes.
Perfect. The question is, what do you do with this money? I mean, can shareholders expect some sort of one-time reward to them, or will you plow back that into the capex that you're doing?
So, again, the one thing that we have maintained in all our interactions is that whenever we have any exceptional cash flows, whether it is out of, a commodity boom or something like this happening, we have three clear priorities. Number one is to pare down debt. Now, we have already done that. We are debt-free, so there is nothing further left to pare down. The second priority is to create a kitty for our expansion plan. We have done that, but this is something that will come in handy because let me remind you that we're going to be spending about 550 crores over the next couple of years to expand our ferrochrome capacity by 100,000 tons and roughly 1,000 crores or thereabouts over the next 7 odd years to double our mining output. But so we have cash on the books. We will be generating free cash flows. But this is obviously something which comes in handy. And yes, the third priority has been to reward shareholders, and that is something that we will certainly keep in mind. I mean, of course, I cannot, this is something that will be discussed in the board, and the board takes a decision in this regard. But yes, rewarding shareholders who have been with us through thick and thin is something which is certainly on the agenda.
If you could give us a sense of, what the split would be. You said that of the three priorities, one was to pare down debt. Now you have no debt. A lot of your capex will be internally funded by the cash that you're generating as well, though this one would be a little handy. And the third one would be to return it to shareholders. So of the 450 crores, assume it's just 420 crores for now, how much would you retain for capex and how much do you think would be fair to return to all the shareholders? Just trying to understand. We understand that this is the board's decision, but your thoughts?
I don't think it's appropriate for me to sort of predetermine what the board will want to do in this regard. But like I said, very clearly, given that we are done and dusted with the first priority of paring down debt, we will certainly keep in mind, more than a reasonable return for shareholders who have stuck with us. But I don't think it's appropriate for me to try and indicate an amount without first discussing it with the board and the board signing off on it.
Okay, your capex is 550 crores is to add 100,000 tons of Ferro Chrome. And for your mining operations, you're looking at doubling it, right? What is the amount for that?
That's right. So our mining output at the moment is 0.6 million tons, and we are going to increase that to 0.9 in the next 0.9 million tons in the next couple of years, and then ultimately to about 1.2 million tons. So the capex which is required for that is roughly 1,000 crores, and that is something that will be spread out over the next 7 odd years. Keep in mind that, unlike smelting capacity, which is modular, so you add one furnace at a time, in mining, we have to design it, the shaft, the decline, etc., has to be designed for the ultimate capacity. So that is why, the expense is of that nature. But it's going to be spread out over 6 or 7 years. We have sufficient cash on the books. We'll generate free cash flows. This is something which comes in handy. So literally speaking, we can actually do the expansion plans without raising any debt. But for strategic reasons, we will probably look at raising a little amount of debt. And keeping in mind that we maintain the strength of the balance sheet, which I think we have been very successful in doing, so that whether it is acquisition opportunities, expansion opportunities, or rewarding shareholders, we are not constrained in any manner.
All right. Panda, you said that we have to come up with new questions, and we always have a lot of questions. Unfortunately, time is very, very limited. But one such question that's come, a lot of investors have been approaching me and saying, hey, Nigel, chrome prices are going up. Chrome ore prices are going up domestically because of a bit of a shortage. Now, to understand this correctly, there is a chrome ore shortage, but international ferrochrome prices, which is the output, they are more or less stable. So for IMFA, how does it impact you all? Or is it a non-event? They'll give some kind of base. You're mostly selling in the exports market. And so for you, the selling price of ferrochrome will be more important. Explain it to us.
So you're absolutely right that chrome ore prices have gone up significantly in the last auction by Orissa Mining Corporation. I think probably something like 60 to 70% over the base price. And that is a result of a little bit of shortage. But as you know, we mine our own chrome ore, so that does not affect us at all in terms of the increase in chrome ore prices or the shortage or whatever the case may be. And in terms of benefiting from this, it's not a very significant amount for the simple reason that, again, as you correctly mentioned, we are about 90% exports. And therefore, we are more dictated to by what happens in the international market, which has remained roughly around, just below $1. So that translates to roughly about 1,10,000 rupees or so, whereas domestic prices are now closing in on 1,20,000 or perhaps even a little bit more. But nothing prevents us to reorient a little bit of the tonnage towards the domestic market to benefit from it. And having said that, this is something that we presume is going to be relatively short-lived. What is more relevant going ahead is that, being fully integrated, having zero debt on the books, we are in a very, very good position to maintain attractive margins of close to 25% EBITDA. And that is something that will come in extremely handy in terms of our expansion plans and other strategic imperatives that we are looking to pursue.
All right, Mr. Panda, thank you for explaining that to us crystal clear. But, just to add a little more to that, you said in the near term you would want to reorient and perhaps sell in the domestic market itself. How much more can you sell in the domestic market? How much of your export volumes are already contracted? Just wanted to understand, because 90-10 is the mix right now. Because of this price advantage, how much more can you sell?
So, broadly about 70% of our output is committed against long-term contracts, which are priced either quarterly in most cases or in a few cases priced monthly. So that gives us that tonnage that we can reorient towards the domestic market. But, having said that, I don't think we can go from, we can jump sharply. And as I mentioned, I think this is a somewhat short-lived opportunity. We will cash in to the extent that we can. But I think the bigger question that I would like to mention here is that our Kalinganagar expansion, which we are coming up with, is in what is the India stainless steel hub. And looking ahead in 3 to 5 years, I would certainly expect domestic sales of ferrochrome to be significantly more than where we are today, because India is on the cusp of significant growth, and all the infrastructure spend that is happening, some of that will require stainless steel. And this is something we had been actually predicting for a while. that we will be reorienting more towards domestic sales. I see that happening in let's say 3 to 5 years when our Kalinganagar expansion comes into play.
Always a good chat with you, Mr. Panda. Thanks so much for stopping by and filling us in with all those details. So finally, the long-awaited 350-400 crores has come about. So cheers to that, and we look forward to chatting with you post your Q2 numbers as well, Mr. Panda.